Hello and welcome to Bears Talk presented by J. Brown Realtors on this Tuesday, November 21st. I'm Andy Losi, joined alongside head football coach Mike Jacobs as the Bears are fresh off the NCAA playoff victory over Shepherd by the final score of 63-17. Coach, thank you so much for joining us and congratulations on the big win.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate you having me.
You take a look at this performance back on Saturday. It was from beginning to end. 63 points, only allowing 17. What went well so right for your team throughout that matchup?
Our kids executed at such a high level, in particularly on offense. We've thrown that it is the single best passing day in school history. Sean White was he was fantastic. He did a great job putting the ball on the money. Coach So did a great job designing plays. We ran the football effectively. We just executed at a high level. As we kept rolling offensively, it allowed our defense to defend a more one-dimensional offense in Shepherd. Our defense generated 3 takeaways in the game, all at critical times. And then I thought we did a nice job in special teams because I really feel like Shepherd on film was probably the best special teams team that we had seen all season. So all in all, 3-phase victory. Just couldn't be more proud of our players with their preparation throughout the week and then the execution on Saturday.
Let's think offensively. A 48-point showing in the SAC championship against Tusculum, and then you follow up with a 63-point performance in the first round of the NCAA tournament. What has the offensive group done so collectively to hit their stride at the best time?
I think again, it goes back to the line of scrimmage. We're able to run the football. We're protecting the quarterback. When we give them protection and we have time, we have a really talented wide receiver group and a tight end room. And, again, I think we completed footballs to 9 different players on Saturday. So, the unselfishness in that room and of our offense has been fantastic. And, again, our offensive staff, Anthony Soto, the offensive coordinator, Devin Figueroa, wide receivers, Tyler Orlowski, the offensive line coach, and Nick Rosen, tight ends, and Will Hornsby, running backs. Those guys have done a brilliant job of putting our kids in great positions.
Looking at Sean White, it's been an interesting season for Sean White for sure. But when you look back at that performance on Saturday, he had his best showing of the year. 5 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, completing over 80% of his passes as well. It may have not been the most normal route taken from a quarterback, but how much have you seen the growth of Sean White this year?
Sean, again, we've talked week after week. With Jalen Ferguson getting a little banged up, Sean got a chance to come back in, and he's played really well. He's done a great job. He's made the right reads, and he's been extremely accurate with the football. And again, coming from a guy who, week 4 of the season really lost his starting job as Jalen Ferguson earned it. It's been really great to see Sean and really to watch his teammates even rally around him. I think he's just been tremendous for us, and he's a big reason we won the conference championship and the playoff game last weekend.
So winning round 1, you move on to round 2. You will face undefeated Benedict, the number 1 seed in this region, 11-0 year. I know we're at the beginning of the week right now, but what's your initial thoughts on the Tigers?
Sure. Really talented football team. Coach Barry's done a great job down there. I think they were 11-1 last year, so they're 22-1 in the last 23 games. So they have a talented and aggressive defense. I think they're top 3 in the country. It's really what they hang their hat on. They got some skill players and a talented quarterback, and there's a reason they've won back-to-back conference championships.
We talked about a little bit about that defense as well. Best scoring defense across all Division II, only allowing 8.5 points per game. A solid red zone defense as well, only allowing to score 52.2% of the time. We touched base on your offense and how they've been doing so well, but what's your confidence going with this offense against a very tough Benedict team on the road?
Yeah, I mean, the keys to victory are really the same a lot of times, right? It's don't turn the ball over, control the line of scrimmage, play fast, physical, and have a bunch of fun. And I think if we can execute at a high level again, we have a talented offense that I think we have a chance to be in any game that way.
And then speaking about yourself defensively, you're a very solid defensive unit as well. The X Factor showed up on Saturday against Shepherd. John Ross May, 7 tackles leading the team, interception as well. Andre Jefferson with another multi-sack performance. This is a Benedict team that dropped 47 points against Albany State in their championship game. But your defense, solid as well. Same little situation here for your offense going down, going against a tough defense, but your defense going against a Benedict offense that has looked solid this year.
Sure.
How's that core group really feeling towards
Yeah,
this
I
week?
mean, they feel great. Again, it'll go back to preparation. It'll go back to working to stop the run and just getting 11 hats to the football. How energetic can we play? What's our effort like to the football once we get there? And again, I feel good about our preparation leading into it.
And then you look at this Benedict matchup coming up. They're fresh off a bye. You come off a 47-point victory as well. Some people will say, well, you have the advantage of playing the week before, keep the schedule going. Benedict may have the advantage of the bye. From your perspective, what's the advantage that your team has after that 63-17 victory to go into Benedict and try to dethrone the number 1 seed?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with having the bye, the great thing about having a bye is you really get a few days off. And, 11 weeks into the season with no bye week, there's some bumps and bruises, and giving those guys a chance to reset themselves is the benefit of a bye week. The benefit of not having a bye week is if you got a bunch of positive momentum and you continue to play well, there's a rhythm to what you do. And I think, certainly with the way we've played the last few weeks, really since the Wingate game, it's good for us to stay in that rhythm. And I think, it'll lead to a great week of practice and hopefully a prepared football team next Saturday.
Speak about rhythm, a little bit bump into the week with Thanksgiving coming up. Question just saying, with Thanksgiving coming on a Thursday before game week, does that holiday really change up that practice schedule leading up to the game? Or is it kind of just a nice, have the holiday on a Thursday, get a day to really just focus on celebration, and then get back to work on Friday and preparation for Saturday?
No, we'll the best part about being in the playoffs is getting to be together on Thanksgiving in some way, shape, or form. So we'll adjust the schedule slightly. We'll go earlier in the morning, so our kids who are really within 2 hours or so have an opportunity to see their families and get home, and the guys not traveling to do the same.
And then you mentioned at the press conference on Saturday after the win that you get to have Thanksgiving with your team. So I have to wonder, what's on the menu for the Jacobs this year?
It's always turkey. The fan favorite typically is I do like a jalapeno cornbread casserole. So we'll probably have a little bit of that.
Hey, I haven't heard that in much Thanksgiving dinners. That looks exciting. Yeah. Coach, best of luck this week, and thank you so much for joining us
Appreciate
today.
It. Thanks, Andy.
All right, so here with Neve, Duston, head coach Neve and Nicole Auger, to start with some opening thoughts on advancing in penalty kicks today over Columbus State by the final 2-2 after a tie, and then winning 4-2 on penalties.
Obviously, the main point of progressing is big. It's an emotional game. I think some big moments and big pieces of the game that obviously had an outcome, in penalty kicks. So we're pleased to progress, but it was a tough game, and credit to Columbus State for playing their part as well.
Neve, we'll start with you. Going up to the penalty spot, 92nd appearance today, all-time here with Lenoir-Rhyne. You're the most appeared there of the program history. Step into that moment knowing what that could have done for your program. How did you approach it, and how well were you that you executed?
Well, I'm a big manifester of good things, and any moment where there's not a lot of conversation and it's just sort of quiet, I like to just think of good things, and I was thinking, I'm going to make this, and I'm going to tear my shirt off. And I did just that, and it just shows how manifesting moments works, but also how this team was made for those moments.
Nicole, I'll throw it over to you. You scored the goal in the first overtime period. 2 straight matches in the NCAA tournament that you have found the back of the net. How pleased are you with your performance so far here in the tournament with the open weekend?
I mean, it was crazy. I loved it, but I mean, at the end of the day, I played for the seniors, and I just took a deep breath, and I don't know how I headed it, but I did, and it was great.
So, Columbus State scores with 5 minutes left on your home pitch, and all of a sudden, a match that seems like you guys have been dominating the possession for most of it, all of a sudden it becomes a frantic push up forward. What was that 5 minutes like here at home, and how relieved are you as a team when Ellen Hansen was able to find the back of the net with 59 seconds left?
I mean, I think the first half we had plenty of chances, and we should have scored a number of those chances, and fine margins that keep teams in games, and they compete and fight and are dangerous in terms of first and second balls in our box. And the goal they scored was a poor one for us to concede from a team perspective. And then you're in scramble mode, and we throw Kate Casey up front, and we start sending some balls in. Obviously, we have a corner the last few seconds, and load the box. And we put bodies and compete in that moment, and ultimately it kept us in the game. And from that point on, we didn't really manage the game fantastically well. I think the first overtime period was decent, but then again he got frantic in the second period and let them back into the game. So we've got to be better in those moments and be able to control the game a little bit better. But in terms of executing big moments and staying in the game and scoring some big goals at key times, we were able to do that.
I'll open this up to anybody. Last year, this is the team that you lost to in the NCAA tournament. How great is it to get the win against them this time around here to get to the third round?
I think a big thing going into this year and a mindset that sort of changed from past years is that we made it a lot about ourselves and what we can control and less about the teams. I think, yes, we lost to Columbus State last year, and there's always going to be a bit of that fire, a bit of rivalry, but at the end of the day, we know if we put in a performance and play how we want to play, any game is ours, and it's less about the team and more about the work and the effort and the love for the game that we put in.
So talking about playing as a team, now you got your next opponent is Catawba again. Third time we're going to play them in this month. Two of them have been excellent battles. Two pretty much were playing for championships, a regular season championship, then for the title championship, but now in the NCAA tournament. I know it's a little bit ahead, but just initial thoughts about playing the Indians for a third time.
It's one of those. It's playing a team three times. Like, it's difficult because we know everything about each other and they know everything about us. And again, those minor margins can have a difference on the game. So, we're just glad to be in the next round, and whoever we play, we'll go from there. But it should be a good matchup.
And also, this was your last match at home this season. This is open for anyone. Talking about what this LR fan base and Hickman community has done for you guys this year and the support that you saw this weekend from your fans.
It was great seeing the fans being full. I love the parents because they've been there since day one, and like the track team and all of that. It's just great to see the fans grow and just come out and support us. And I know there's multiple people watching online, so I feel like that's also great.
And to end my LR career with so many fans and support for a whole team, that's really what it's about. I've come to the school in 2019, and I'm leaving on such a high on the home field, and it feels great as a unit.
Anything else?
I got one, just to follow up on that. Like, not everybody gets a storybook ending to their career on their home field. Like, you get to go out knowing the last time you'll ever step on this field was winning this game in PKs. You talked about the 19 team that lost it here. How does that, kind of put a cap on your...
It's like full circle. It starts off my freshman year, unfortunately losing at home in the NCAAs, but then you cap it off in my super senior year with a great group of people, a great group of fans, staff that supports you, an amazing coach, and it ends it on a high. No matter what, this team is going to be special, and the school is going to be special to me, but it's especially special because of the people and the team and the way that game ended. It epitomizes LR and my home.
It's interesting, because obviously we had a penalty kick situation against Catawba in the final, and I made some tweaks in terms of the order in that game. And originally I had Neve as the fourth penalty, and then changed it to the fifth one in that last game, thinking that it may be the deciding penalty in that moment. So we ended up keeping the same, and pleased for Neve to be able to get that pretty cool moment.
Thanks, Dean.
And I guess the coach, flip-flopping goalies back and forth, was SA going to be the plan going into the PKs? Or?
Yeah, we've got multiple good goalkeepers. Obviously we've practiced penalties, and in the moment of who may we go to in that moment is up for debate, but we chose with SA, and in the flow of the game I think we needed to relieve some pressure with some distribution and distance on kicking, so that's why we made the change with Kristen, and I think that helped kind of sway the game a little bit in our favour. But it was always in my head that SA was going to go in goal for penalties, and fair play to her, she stayed engaged and locked in, and she could have been disappointed for coming off the field, but she's a team player and she put the team first and was ready for the penalty kick situation.